So what I'm seeing a lot of is high tech being the solution to science and technology. That's going to be the solution to agriculture. Well, think about Miriam, right? Let's talk about Miriam's farm. Those are the people who are going hungry. If those are the people we want to help, let's think about what solutions might work for them. And I'm not a high-tech versus low-tech person. I think we need it all. I think we need GMOs. I think we need organic methods. I think we need agroecology. I think that we need chemical fertilizers. I think that we need all of it. And let me give you 2 examples to explain why I believe that. So let's take a high-tech example. Let's take a farmer and say that we're going to give them new seeds and better fertilizer. Okay? We go to Burkina Faso or wherever. We announce in the village that we've got this new program coming in. We're going to give you new seeds. We're going to give you fertilizer. We're going to give you a loan to be able to buy those things from us. We're going to teach you how to farm it, and we're going to increase your yields by 200%. So the male farmers in the community come out, they come to the program, they're sold, they get the new seeds and the fertilizer. They incur a little bit of debt to be able to do that, but they anticipate they'll be able to pay back a 200% increase in my yield, no problem. I'll be able to pay back that loan. So they give the men some training, which is fine, and most of them are illiterate, so they can't take notes, they can't sort of record it and pass it on, so it ends up in here. So they begin to use these new seeds and fertilizer. Well, the new seeds require more care when they're planted, and it takes time, excuse me, to put down fertilizer. So the man calls his wife off her land, says, I need your help on my land because I've got to put down this fertilizer. So a woman doesn't have any choice in that. She's pulled off of her land and helps her husband tend these new crops. The women didn't get the training because they weren't at the training, because it's not appropriate for them to go to a training with men, right? So she's putting down fertilizer, but she doesn't really know how to use it. So she might put down too little, she might put down too much, she's going to expose herself to those chemicals. She may have a baby on her back or a 2-year-old toddler playing at her feet, playing in the fertilizer. She doesn't have any idea that anything's wrong with that. Her husband got the training, but he didn't remember to share that part of it with her. So her vegetable garden kind of shrivels up because she's really got to spend a lot of time on this new crop. So the end of the season comes, and lo and behold, they increase their yield by 200%, all right? So the aid program goes, success, look at us, we're fabulous, we did it. This is a great success. Well, let's think it through. What really happens then? This guy is not the only guy farming these new crops. Everybody in the whole village also increased their yields by 200%. So what you have at harvest time is 200% more grain on that market. What's going to happen to the price? Ooh, it's going to fall through the floor. So woohoo, we increased their yield by 300%. Great. Well, they try to sell that grain on the market. Remember, they got to pay back this loan. So they better sell enough to pay back the loan, but the prices dropped, so they've got to sell more to pay back that loan. And then when they need the nutrition from the kitchen garden, it's not there because women don't have time to do everything. So they got pulled off that kitchen garden. So what you end up with is a family who's starving in the context of your success. So while that program is back in Washington bragging about how they increased yields by 200%, those families are still starving. Right? This is stupid development. Right? If I can tell you this story and you can get it, in like 5 minutes you get it, right? Don't you think people can figure this out? Right? So this is what gets me really mad. It really is. It's unnecessary. All right, so let me give you a low-tech example. If you think, yeah, low-tech, okay, we gotta go organic, and that's gonna be the solution. Okay, well, let's go low-tech. Let's say we're gonna do a program and we're gonna go in and we're gonna teach people how to use animal waste as compost fertilizer to enrich the soil. Sounds like a good method, right? It's cheap, they don't have to get loans, they got animal waste already. This should work, right? No risk to the farmer. All right, so you realize that who's gonna go collect that animal waste and process it? The women are, right? Men don't do poop, okay? So the women are going to go out there, and there you can Twitter that. Ritu said, men don't do poop. My staff is going to kill me. So the women have to go collect the animal waste, and women are often responsible for livestock, particularly small livestock, chickens and pigs and donkeys and things like that. So again, what happens to her time? She's got to take it away from something else. Take it away from the kitchen garden. We have the same problem again, right? The other thing is that if she's been using animal waste as fuel for cooking or for warmth or whatever, this puts her in a real bind, right? How's she going to manage this? So you've actually increased the energy insecurity of that family with this method, rather than increasing it. So now she's got to go collect wood, or probably what happens is she's going to pull her girls out of school, and she's going to send them away to collect wood. So those girls are not going to get an education, and they're also exposed to regular violence when they're doing it. They are ripe for picking when they are out there in the woods hunting and bringing in sticks. So what does that lead to? That leads to soil erosion. Once you start cutting down those trees and the roots die, the soil loosens up. There's probably plenty of farmers in this room who are way more knowledgeable than me. But that I know the basics that killing trees is going to lead to soil erosion, and it's going to reduce the rate at which water is going back into the ground. So you're going to deplete the groundwater resources on which many of these farms depend. Well, then where does that lead you to? That then leads you to the need for chemical fertilizers in the future. So, ironically, this organic, green, sustainable intervention actually leads to the need for chemical fertilizers. Like exactly the opposite thing than what they were trying to do and accomplish. So, I could go on and on. There's a million scenarios that you can come up with. You can take any intervention and follow it through logically, and chances are it's not going to work. So what is the real solution, right? Basically what I'm telling you is nothing works. Isn't that awesome? That's such a positive message for today. Yay, nothing works. So there is the solution is asking the people you want to help what they need, right? And we have the technology to do that. It's right here, right? Low-tech solution. There is a very good methodology for this. Some of you may have heard of a methodology called participatory rural appraisal, which has now been renamed participatory learning and action. This is, if there ever was a magic bullet to end hunger, this is it. The problem is it's a really slow-moving bullet, and you're going to get really bored. And you're not going to be able to go back to your donors in 3 months or 6 months or even in one growing season and say, woohoo, we increased yields by 200%. You're not going to be able to tell that story. So So a lot of people don't like this because it's slow. But what it is that you go into a community and you work with people within that community. You work with the recognized leaders in that community. And you help take people through a process of analyzing, their own situation. You help them learn how to do soil analysis. You help them analyze the weather patterns over a series of years. You help them look at how land is distributed in their community. Who's doing what kind of farming? Who's doing what tasks on the farm? What's the opportunity cost for doing that task? If that task could be done better and faster, what could it free you up to do? Who has the power of decision-making in this community? Who has the power of decision-making in the household? Participatory learning and action is the magic bullet because it addresses the root cause of poverty, which is powerlessness. But this method is very volatile because once people begin to analyze their own situation, very quickly, what becomes clear is that they are poor and they are in that situation because